The drifting snow. My dad recently retired, and he and Mom decided to spend the winter in sunny Arizona, leaving me in charge of the family home. The good news? I get the house to myself. The bad news? I live on the Canadian prairies, and it's winter. Only October, and we already have snow on the ground. A lot of it. In fact, so much of it, I'm snowed in. They even canceled classes at the university, which is a good thing for me, as I'm behind in all my courses. Too much partying. And this is a chance to catch up on my work. I spent the evening watching the snow swirling outside my window and pounding away on the keyboard. Nobody even texted me. I guess they're all frantically working away too. But finally, after midnight, I had to knock off. But I was too keyed up to even think about sleep. So I cracked a cold one. Yeah, I know. It's cold outside, but it's a dry cold, right? And I was thirsty. And I decided to check out some of the more outre stuff on YouTube. I was nodding off to the dulcet tones of Mortis Media when I was suddenly wide awake. Mort had been interrupted by some sleep-killing ad for something I didn't want. I lolled in my chair for a few minutes, too tired or too lazy to get up and go to bed properly. Indeed, I felt so wasted, I might have stayed there all night. But I had been drinking beer, so I had to take a leak. I wobbled onto my feet, glancing out the window as I did so. There was a flicker of movement outside the window. I forced my bleary eyes to focus, but all I could see was the falling snow and the vague outline of the 3 trees in the backyard. It was snowing so hard, I couldn't even see the houses on the other side of the yard. I thought the movement was probably caused by my reflection, lit by the light from my monitor on the glass on the inside of the window. Well, I went about my business, then came back to shut things down for the night, plunging the room and the whole house into darkness. I took one last look at the storm outside. There was a flicker of movement. I focused, and at the side of the center tree, there was a shadow, as if someone was standing behind it and had their hand on the side of the tree trunk. I moved closer to the window and squinted, trying to see through the swirling mists, but all I could see was white, the trunks of the trees, little more than shadowy forms. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4? There's only 3 trees. I blinked and looked again. Yeah, only 3 trees. I need to go to bed and get some sleep. But even as I turned away, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching me. Ah, shit, man, just go to bed. But when I got into bed, I found I still couldn't sleep. Still too keyed up. I'd been working too hard and then seeing things in the backyard. I'll be glad when the snow stops and I can get back to class, see people and stuff. The backyard security light suddenly came on. It lit up the entire room, and I ran to the window and looked out. The light was motion sensitive and was usually triggered by wildlife or an intruder. I looked into the backyard, but all I could see was drifting snow and the 3 sentinel trees. Whatever had set off the light was gone. Must have been some poor starving jackrabbit, I muttered, returning to bed. I shut my eyes, and then the backyard security light came on again. I ran out and looked again, out the back window, then checked the side window and the front window. Nothing. Must be the falling snow that triggers it, I told myself, although I couldn't explain why the light was coming on now, seeing as it had been snowing all night. The light came on again as soon as I lay down, but I said, to hell with it. And then I felt the chill. I was lying in bed in a nice warm house, but I suddenly found myself shivering, not with physical cold, but with dread, sheer icy dread. There was something out there in the snow, something that was aware of me and wanted to harm me. And I was in here alone. No point in trying to call or text anyone, because no one could get here in this storm. And then I heard it. Jordan. Jordan. Come outside, Jordan. Come outside. I relaxed. It had to be a joke. Someone pranking me. I wanted to laugh out loud. But then my brain kicked in. Who would be playing a practical joke in the middle of a howling blizzard? Didn't I see on the TV? All the roads are closed right now. Everybody's staying inside tonight. Everybody human? Jordan. Come outside, Jordan. I put on a pair of headphones and cranked up the volume, determined to drown the voice out with music. But no matter how high I turned up the sound, I could still hear it calling to me. And even worse, I wanted to go to it. Go outside in the snow and join it. Whatever it was, I wanted to be with it. And that's when it started pounding on the walls of the house. It started at the back of the house, first on the outer walls, and then on the windows. I almost jumped up to look, but I didn't want to see what was out there. See it peering in through the darkness at me. I didn't want to see what it was. It moved around the house, smacking the walls and calling out to me, until it reached my bedroom and stayed. It, and I could only think of my unknown antagonist as it, began hitting the walls so hard, I became terrified that it was going to smash through and grab me. I was about to start yelling at it, to tell it to fuck off and leave me alone. But I didn't want to let it know where I was. Let it know it was getting to me. And I didn't want to make any kind of contact with it. Any kind of contact. So it couldn't gain any further power over me. Or gain a stronger hold on my mind, if that makes any sense. In the end, I did the only thing I could think of. I pulled the blankets over my head and hid underneath the covers. And in a while, it went away. And in a while, I relaxed. And in a while, I fell asleep. I woke up cold, freezing cold. Had the furnace cut out? What a time to be without heat. But then I felt the cold air, which was flowing in waves down the hallway and into the bedroom. Was there a door open somewhere? A door to the outside? I wanted to get up, then stop myself. Was the thing from outside in the house? What was it? I was about to yell, "Who's there?" But fear stopped me, dead. It may have been the smell, which I can only describe as a musty, feral odor, which gave me a mental image of forests and the great outdoors, but also of carrion, dead things. There was something in the hall. The open doorway was a gray triangle against the darkness of the bedroom where I lay. And as I watched, a shadowy figure filled the aperture. It was tall, incredibly tall, almost touching the ceiling, but was thin to the point of emaciation. It was white with frost and covered in places with dark clumps of matted fur. But I found myself staring at the fingers or claws, long, skeletal, and black as death, as were the thing's eyes, huge, dark, penetrating orbs that transfixed me, as if it could see and read my very soul, and rip it out of me, like it was ripping out my heart. It just stood there in the open doorway, staring at me, and I was afraid that any second it would begin calling me by name. Jordan. Jordan. So I shut my eyes and put my hands over my ears. And when I eventually opened my eyes, it was gone. But the cold remained. The snow finally stopped at dawn, but everything outside my frosty windows is gray and overcast. I'm fully dressed, including a sweater and windbreaker underneath my parka. Yeah, I'm wearing a parka indoors. I'm so cold, it's like my heart has turned to ice. I have the furnace running at 85 Fahrenheit or 30 Celsius. Any higher, and I'm afraid it would catch fire. I've just finished drinking a bottle of the old man's scotch, and I've started in on a bottle of brandy. I keep splashing Tabasco into my drinks. Maybe I'll drink the Tabasco next, straight up. I just can't get warm. Just can't get warm. Except for my feet, which are burning and swollen. So hot and swollen, I've gone barefoot. I'm barefoot and wearing a parka and bare feet. I want to go out and cool my burning feet in the lovely white snow, in the wonderful, lovely white snow. But I'm so cold and afraid. I think the thing is still out there, just outside, waiting for me in the gray murkiness. It's no longer calling to me. It doesn't have to, 'cause I'm going to have to leave soon. I've already eaten all the meat I could find in the fridge and in the freezer downstairs, but I'm still hungry. Oh, so hungry. Hungry! Hi, WSJ here. Thank you for listening. YouTube videos are like chips. Yeah, after that story, I'm hungry too. YouTube videos are like chips. One is never enough. So if you enjoyed this video, why not check out some of my earlier videos? Please comment and drop a like and consider subscribing for more Windigo, real Canadian Windigo stories and ghost stories of a librarian. Till next time, bye for now. And remember, stay hungry.